Hey everybody, it's a modern refugee. It's been about 40 days since everything started, and a lot of people were wrong with what this SHTF would look like. Sort of like the pandemic. The big thing is the grid and the internet are still up and running, and that was something that everybody said was the first thing that was going to go. But seems that they wanted the electricity and the internet to be on, so the fear and the panic would spread and the rumors would spread, and it would cause more problems, and that's exactly what's been happening. Our information systems have been been turned into the perfect delivery system for disinformation for what's been going on. And who would have thought that the thing that they would have attacked and shut down was the shipping? And the shipping is right across the board is what they've taken out. It started with commercial shippers, your big food and merchandise distribution places like your Amazons, your Walmarts. That's what they took out first. So nothing can be shipped, and because everything is such on a fine-tuned just-in-time delivery system, everything is delivered. Nothing is produced across the street. So things like pharmaceuticals and stuff to hospitals and food distribution, and then raw materials for manufacturing. There's been a monkey wrench thrown on all of that. That's such a fine, they have such a fine schedule on all that stuff. Stuff's rolling into food processing plants. Well, if it's not there at a specific time, it basically rots on the dock, more or less. They can't get that stuff in for it to be processed. And that, along with the financial sector, being shut down. And they didn't shut down the financial sector. They only shut down the electronic funds transfers. And it started first with the government benefits. They shut down all the government benefits first because they wanted that to cause civil unrest in the poorer areas, which is exactly what's been happening. It started in the urban centers and in the poor rural areas where these the SNAP cards, or what they call here in Michigan bridge cards, that stuff was the first stuff that was shut down. So those people don't have any food or anything stocked up, so then they were the first ones to start the civil unrest and the rioting and stuff. But it wasn't a traditional cyber attack in the traditional sense, where there's foreign actors sitting at a computer thousands of miles away. It was explained to me as think of thousands of disgruntled employees all changing the passwords on critical systems inside commercial companies all at the same time. And that's exactly what happened. And I guess that goes down to people think of sleeper cells as these groups of commandos that are just waiting for the signal to attack. But I guess the sleeper cells were actually embedded into corporate infrastructure. And because there was a lot of these people that when this all took place, all of a sudden this particular IT person or that person, they just disappeared. And they sent out lists for looking for these people, but I'm pretty sure they're already gone. And the way the systems are set up, when people go back in, try to get back into those systems, and they've been locked out, the systems that are in place to stop malicious intent, they're actually fighting back against the people that are trying to fix it, because the system doesn't know any better. And that's basically how it was explained to me. But it's basically shut down manufacturing, it's shut down shipping, it's shut down fuel distribution. Companies can't pay for their goods, so everything is being held up, and it's caused just another layer of chaos on top of what took place back in 2020. So it's just another straw thrown on top of the camel's back, as it were. And there's a lot of people that have been idled, that people in shipping have been idled, people in manufacturing have been idled, people in different retail outlets have been idled, people that delivered all the Amazon packages, take your pick, stuff like UPS, and all that is pretty much everything stopped moving. So now all these people are basically out of work. So they're trying to, apply for some type of, again, back to the government benefits, try to, apply for unemployment or whatever. They can't get in. None of that's everything's locked out of the system. So it's been a real shit show. And, there's been some areas where they've had real problems. They've cracked down on it. Our area, it's rural. It's kind of out of the way. Everybody's kind of self-sufficient. Everybody's kind of here's kind of got a wait and see attitude. They've been watching how it transpires. But if it goes much further with the pharmaceuticals not being available, and things that the hospital needs, we're going to start seeing an uptick in deaths, I'm afraid, here just right shortly. Like I said, this has been going on 40 days, and how long this is going to continue to go on, nobody really knows, because basically nothing is moving. Back in 2008, they said, the finances all froze up, credit stopped, money stopped moving, and the credit markets all froze up. Well, now the shipping markets have all froze up. So, and we're not just talking about money and credit and governments borrowing money. We're talking about, food, and we're talking about chemicals going to water treatment plants. We're talking about medicine that's keeping people alive. We're not just talking about luxuries. We're talking about, the basics of life, and they're not moving at all right now. So, what the end's going to be yet, don't know. And every time they say they got something fixed on the old disinformation, I mean the information highway, every time they say they got something fixed, another thing pops up. So it's more or less been a high-tech whack-a-mole, but it's beyond the fog of war. Nobody's really believing anything that's coming out right now. So all we're doing is looking at everything locally here, and trying to get by one day at a time, because that's basically all that you can do. But anyway, just wanted to touch base with you guys out there. The internet's still working, so I might as well post a video, right? But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. I appreciate all you guys out there. I hope you guys are all doing well. Everybody that's on this channel, I am confident that you are prepared for whatever happens. But anyway, you guys take care. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that little SHTF scenario there. They're just, my SHTF scenario videos are just overwhelmingly popular. So thought I'd throw another one out for you guys here tonight. Just talking about some things that you don't hear quite as much about. Everybody talks about the grid going down, or the internet being taken out, or something like that. But kind of turn that on its head with this particular scenario here. Like, what if that stuff is left up because, of course, they want the information to be, they want information and panic to spread. What better way to do that when everybody's carrying a phone around in their pocket where they can get, information 24/7. But just if two things stop, if there's just two things that stopped, electronic funds transfers, so, debit cards stop, cash would still work, but then nobody has cash because they've been trying to shut cash down for forever, right? All you hear about is, we just went to some local functions here just recently, and the whole thing's cashless. You got to pay with a debit card. That's the way they do it. Well, they don't want no cash out there in the system, but what if something happens where they have to revert back to that cash? The old timers always told me that was the whole problem with the Depression. Nobody had any money. There wasn't enough cash in circulation. There wasn't enough cash in the system to keep everything up and running. And that's what would happen now if something happened to those electronic systems. All those electronic transfers, they all run off satellites. If something happens to those satellites and those satellite uplinks, there's going to be no electronic money moving around. You're not going to be able to pay for your big gulp with your debit card. It's going to go back to cash. Who's got cash in their pockets? So that's going to put a big curtail on everything. And then the other thing is trucking and shipping. Trucking and shipping, everything is brought in by truck. If something happens to those trucking systems, whether it's the fuel that the trucks use, or if it's, the just-in-time ordering systems, if any one of those systems completely fails and stuff just stops moving, Just imagine every truck that brings fuel, every truck that brings medicine, every truck that brings food, every truck that takes food to a processing plant when, the vegetables and stuff are ripe. Imagine that all just stopping. How quick is everything going to run out? Pretty darn quick, I've heard estimates that, your average grocery store only has, 9 days worth of food in it. But if there's a panic, I've heard 3 days. I'm thinking more like 18 hours myself, but that's just me. And where I get that idea from, how quick everything got wiped out in 2020 for the pandemic. So it's not just, my own speculation. It's from, my own personal experience of some things that I've seen. But just those two things, if electronic money stopped and shipping stopped, if just those two things went down and every other system was still up and running, how long would it be before all those other critical systems, your water, your electricity, your natural gas, your propane distribution, how long before all of that starts to cascade and to fail? I used 40 days as an example in this particular video here, but if it would be any longer than that, and it would be like in a particularly cold time of year or a particularly hot time of year, I could see that 40 days being shortened up to maybe 20 days or maybe even less. But anyway, just some things to think about. Wanted you guys to kind of jump into my mind here on another SHTF scenario video, just for something for you and yours to talk about. How would you handle that system as a family or a group if one of those two systems went down at the same time? And you can also use that, use this as a template for other systems. Do combinations, because my guess is if something happens, there won't be just one system that's going to go down. There'll be 2 or 3 systems to go down that will feed off of each other. But anyway, it's Modern Refugee. Just throwing this out there for you guys to think about and analyze for yourself. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys got a little information out of this video, a little entertainment, something to think about as always. And you guys have a good one.